Hello, welcome, Radio Free Nintendo. August 13th, 2026, episode 988. James Jones, John Lindemann.
Hello, everybody.
Greg Leahy.
Oh, everyone.
Guillaume Bayet.
Hi.
Introduction done, completed. It is new business. So we have a bunch of news and stuff we want to get through, but we're not going to do that right now. We're going to do some new business, maybe quick, so we can spend some time doing your listener mail. I'm going to do a real quick Pokopia update. There's 3 things I want to touch on. The first, a new event has launched. It launched today. This is Thursday. This event is a new Pokemon event. If you go to a Pokemon Center in a non-DLC zone, so you do not have to have the DLC to get this, you will run into Feebas. It will tell you that it is going to be in the shop because it lost all of its prismatic scales or whatever they're called. You can then go to a Dream Island. That's the islands you reach with one of the dolls through Ditto and collect them. If you have about 100, you can buy 1 of everything and then 2 of most everything else. This is good. There are then 2 habitats you can then make for it. 1 for Feebas, who will not join until after it finishes its sale thing. That's about 10 days. And 1 for its evolved form, Melodic. And then you have that one. That's cool. That's a thing you can do even if you don't have the DLC, but it is time limited. There are ways to get around the time limit. If anybody wants to know them, you can ask in the Discord. I'll tell you what you need to do. But if you do it right now, you don't have to worry about that shit. You can just go do it. All right, and then the second thing, update on the DLC. I have some corrections on things I said yesterday. One of them, I said that they added the ability to do a 1x1, 2x2, and 3x3 squares. I was wrong. That was already there, but only if you were in the Magnemite form. And since I don't use that form very often, I didn't notice it. But now that I know it's there, I'm using the Magnemite form a lot more often. It's very useful. Second correction, John asked me, how does Lapras work? And I said, well, you can only use it when you're close to the surface, and then you zip to the top, and you can float around the top. That is true by default. However, there is a new cooking mechanism in the game. So before you could use a frying pan, you could use a crock pot to make soup, and there was a bread stove where you could make bread. Oven, not a stove. Oven. They added a 4th one, which is a blender, and that allows you to make smoothies. And what these cooked foods do is they power up one of your skills. So one of them powers up cut, so you can cut things more than just grass, or you can cut in like a long straight line. One of them powers up watering, so you can water more areas. One of them powers up the ability to summon grass, so you can like load bigger areas at one time, etc., etc. The big one, the one you do all the time, is breaking rocks. You can get stronger breaking, so you break rocks faster, or you can break harder rocks. That's the one where I'm usually carrying around like 20 Hamburg steaks in my inventory just to keep powering it up. But Lapras's Surf didn't have a power-up before the DLC. Now it does. It is, in fact, the smoothies. So if you make a smoothie, you can then use Lapras underwater and travel much faster through the area than you can swimming normally as Ditto and a human. So
can you go deeper, though? Or is it the same
Yes.
sort of... Okay.
You can go as deep as Ditto in human form, but that is all the way to the bottom.
Yeah.
So there's nowhere deeper to go.
Yeah.
It is much faster to navigate than as Ditto. So I'm using that, and then when I get to where I want to be, transforming out of it, doing the thing, and then transforming back to continue moving around.
Yep.
The other thing I have done is I have completed the Pokedex in this area. There are 50 Pokemon and I believe 30 habitats. So I did that in about a week. I am technically missing 1 form of 1 Pokemon. There are 2 Pokemon that have male and female forms. I have the male and female forms of 1. I only have the male form of the other. But from the story standpoint, I got the alert for, hey, good job completing the Pokedex, idiot. So that's done. So my dex is complete again. I enjoyed this quite a bit. I put a crap load of time into it. There is a house that you can get that is an underwater laboratory, which is really fucking cool. But there's no space in this level big enough to build it. It's huge. I've completed the story for this area as well. I got the legendary that's in the Dream Island, which may or may not spawn, and you can only check once a day, unless you Google how to get around the checks. It doesn't involve messing with time on your Switch. But yeah, I really enjoyed this DLC. If this was the only stuff in the DLC, if this was the end of the DLC train, I would be a bit put off by the fact it's $30, I think, maybe $35. But it's not. There are 2 more packages of DLC. We don't know a lot about Package 2. We know Package 3 is an area, and presumably, therefore, Package 2 is not an area. We do know that it appears that so they released like an icon for it when they did the update for DLC 1. So that there's like an icon for DLC 2, and it gives you a little hint what's in there. We see Pikachu wearing some kind of like angel wings, and we see your character also wearing accessories, and we see a Snubble who's not presently in the game. So presumably they are going to add at least some new Pokemon and maybe accessories in this pack, and then Pack 3 is a whole other area. That would, if it's another 50 Pokemon, not counting the event Pokemon, at which point I think there are 7, that would bring the total number of Pokemon in this game up to 400, plus, like I said, the 7 event Pokemon, which is not a small number. That is a very sizable list, plus Ditto. Ditto isn't counted in the list for some reason. So yeah, like it's a big list of Pokemon. It is, like, this game is really good. And I find the interactions of the characters to be particularly charming. They've added some additional tutorial stuff as part of this DLC update. These are sometimes for things that were already in the game before, but people probably didn't know about them. So at the bottom on the loading screen, you'll get excerpts from the Pokedex where it's describing habitats or describing a Pokemon, or you'll get like a hint about a skill. And since every Pokemon has skills except for Magikarp, Magikarp has no skills. Magikarp's skill is 4 question marks. There's one called Explosion. What it means is if you put a Pokemon who has it into a cannon, and that's basically Voltorb or Electrode, and then fire that cannon, whatever they hit will be destroyed in a massive explosion. And they fucking love it. This is a great way to hollow out a big area that needs to get cleaned up. I have done this. It is very funny. But having the tutorial show at the bottom, it made me crack up a little bit. But yeah, this is really good. I had complained that the navigating this area was hard, and it is still difficult, but as I've built up the area and created landmarks for myself, it has become a lot easier to navigate. You know, I have visual landmarks that I can navigate against. I've knocked down a lot of the houses that are in ruins and used the material to rebuild other ones that were in ruins, and then have built something new on top of the lot. So pretty much everybody has a house at this point. And if they don't, I have a house for them. I just haven't decorated it and moved them in. Yeah. So like I've built like 15, 20 houses at this point.
Yeah, that's kind of the worst thing. Like when you're like at my point in the game where you have all of these houses that just look terrible and you just want to tear them down, but you have no way to do so. Yeah.
The Graveler is really helpful at tearing them down. If you don't really care what happens, you're just like, I just want this land flat. But tearing them down and then taking the material to rebuild other ones, because a lot of times they're all made of the same material, is super helpful because for whatever reason they use a lot of painted material. And that's just a pain in the ass to paint material to use. It's just extra steps. So I would say I have fully rebuilt about 3 of the houses that are underwater. 4, maybe. I'm working on the school, which is a massive building. And then I've probably bulldozed and scrapped 6 of them. So I'm pretty close to having cleaned up all the ruins underwater. And having rebuilt or built over the foundations and stuff. So I'm getting close to putting the game back on like just check on it daily mode, especially because really all I have left to do from this area is just wait for the security camera to tell me that female Jellicent has finally decided to join the rest of us here. But until then, just a waiting game. But yeah, that's really it. Then the third thing, news. It came out today that this game has sold 5 million units, making it Tecmo Koei's best-selling game ever, usurping one of the Zelda Warriors games, I believe. So, hey, I made a joke about this years ago that I don't know what it is, but the next Nintendo Tecmo Koei game is already in development. I'm going to go ahead and say now, hey, the next 5 Nintendo Tecmo Koei games are already in development. The top 2 games of their company's history are both in that list. I suspect they're more than happy to make additional ones. So look forward to whatever this weird relationship brings us next time.
I mean, Nintendo apparently trusts them, so.
20% of Switch 2 owners own a copy of Pokopia.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
That is a very high percentage. It is rapidly ascending the list of top-selling Pokemon spin-offs of all time. I think it's up to 4th.
Yeah. Well, it's good.
Bonkers. Bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest, if I was on the Animal Crossing team, I know these games are different. Animal Crossing defenders get mad when you say this, but there's a lot of overlap, and these may be different games, but there are things they're going to need to learn lesson-wise.
Yeah, it really does scratch the same itch to a large degree.
Yeah, they're gonna have to learn some lessons, and I don't know what those lessons are because I'm not up on the Animal Crossing scene. But boy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like, the one thing I would say is that it makes the characters in Animal Crossing feel really generic.
Yes. Because
like,
it's not just that the Pokemon characters have a lot to say.
Yeah.
It's that they have lots of canned interactions that are like, these 2 specific Pokemon, if they run into each other, will have a little conversation that's been scripted. Or they have a lot more animation as they're just wandering around doing stuff. I walked in on 2 of them having it out about something, and then one chasing the other, and then them laughing about it.
Yeah, and the thing is with Pokemon, you have the whole, like each of these Pokemon kind of have a backstory.
Yeah.
More so than the characters in Animal Crossing, which are just sort of, they're kind of just characters that happen to be there, and they do silly stuff, and you don't really know a whole lot about them beyond, like, I like to work out or something like that. Whereas these Pokemon, you know, like, not only is there, like, the larger, you know, cartoons and all of that kind of stuff, but even within the games themselves.
Just in their decks.
Yeah.
Like, they'll have, like, 7, like, elements that describe them.
Yeah.
In the characters for Animal Crossing. And they share them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, this is a sporty one. And so he's going to say all the same things other sporty ones say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even the complexity of, like, designing a house for them. Animal Crossing has done this. To borrow Carly's phrase, Animal Crossing happy house arrest.
Mm-hmm.
Where we had to design for them. It felt like even that was much more shallow than building a room for these critters.
Yeah.
Because there was the famous one of, like, I want something for my baby, and it was a crib surrounded by fire. Oh, it's beautiful. It's like, no, it's not.
It's hazardous.
What the fuck? Yeah. Like, in this one, they at least acknowledge things they like and things they don't.
Yeah.
And so if they don't like the thing, it's going to negatively impact how they feel about the space you've built them. And if you think about it, think about who they are and what they would like, you can pretty well predict the kinds of things they're going to care about and build them a house accordingly. And the getting this town up to level 10, it'd been a while since I had to raise the happiness level of a town. Getting this town up to level 10 again was fun. And, like, figuring out how I can make this jackass happy by building them a space that's all their own, and who I can give them as a roommate because they're going to like the same things. So I don't have to build 2 rooms.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun, and, like, that's a feature that they should consider stealing. Because, boy, this game has a lot of content and does a lot of stuff and made a lot of people very happy and made a lot of money. It didn't make Animal Crossing money, but it made a lot of money.
Yeah.
They should be at least cognizant of the fact that the world they released the last Animal Crossing game in is not the world of today.
No.
And not just because a pandemic didn't just start like a month ago, although that is certainly relevant. But other games have come out that maybe aren't on their in their yard, but are at least on their street.
Mm-hmm.
And Pokopia is definitely one of those. Yes, it is different. It is different in significant ways. But the emotional feels that you get from it are not.
Yeah,
I would
argue
strings it's pulling are not.
It has more depth than Animal Crossing. That's the thing.
Yes,
hearing myself say that out loud sounds really funny, but because Animal Crossing does have a lot of depth, but it's more. I don't know. It's more. I feel like Animal Crossing is almost more wide than deep.
That is fair. Yes. I appreciate Animal Crossing for what it is. This isn't me, a non-Animal Crossing fan, go, man, fuck Animal Crossing, or pretending like I'm some Animal Crossing genius.
But I would argue that probably the reasons why you don't like Animal Crossing is the fact that those things that you see as deficiencies are things that bore you with Animal Crossing. With Pokemon Pokopia, it actually does add the kind of stuff that you're interested in with a similar formula. But there's actually stuff that you view as worthwhile. Whereas with Animal Crossing, it just feels like I'm just building this for really no point whatsoever, just for the sake of building it. I think that's one of the big differences, I think.
It needs to. I don't have any control over how my people live.
Yeah.
In Pokopia, what is the separation between Ditto and God?
Not much.
And I ask this in. Well, that's fair. But Ditto effectively has the ability to create life. It doesn't know that. I'm not convinced that... I like the idea that Ditto in this game is completely oblivious to everything it's doing.
Yeah.
It's just doing whatever, and everyone else around, it's like, oh, you're so kind and you're so smart, and Ditto's just like, I made a building!
Yeah. Ditto just has that same blank smile no matter what.
Yeah. I put that there for fun. But there is a sense of that, like, you are literally the creator in this land, and it is there, and you are God.
Yeah.
Whereas Animal Crossing, it's Tom Nook is God.
Yeah, you could almost say
and he's a petty god.
That Ditto in this case is Michael Dittokoff, if you will.
No, you can't, because Ditto has
ninja.
More faces. Ditto has more expressions.
You are right. There is a smile there. We were talking about American Ninja earlier before the podcast,
which you should watch.
Yeah.
Don't watch near things that are flammable because there's explosions all the time.
Yeah,
and it might inspire those flammable things to explode. But there's a cave in the sea area, the beach. Can't remember what it's called. It's like the second area in the game.
Bubbly Basin or Bleak Beach?
Bleak Beach.
Yeah.
There's a cave underwater that you could not get to before this new power-up, that has an expression that's Ditto lying on its stomach, kicking its little feet in the air behind it with its hands under its chin. And it's called, like, lay down emote. It's the stupidest fucking looking thing in the world. And I love it. So, yeah, he's got way more expressions than Michael Dudikoff.
Yeah,
that's like
true.
4.
That's true.
Dudikoff has arguably 0, but we'll say 1. We'll say default face. But, yeah, that's... Some of this is correction. Some of this is an update. Some of this is like, damn, this game is doing really well. I think we knew it was going to do well. But a 20% attach rate over a year into a system's lifespan is nuts.
Yeah, especially when when it doesn't really feel like when Animal Crossing came out, everybody knew about it. People that I didn't even know played video games were playing Animal Crossing. Like, it was like a phenomenon that just caught fire. And this isn't that, but it seems like it's just... Would you say the game went viral in 2020, John? Is that what you're saying? That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, or 20. Is that 2020? Yeah, it was 2020.
Yeah, it was 2020. It
Yeah.
came out in March 2020, I think, if I remember.
Yeah, it did.
Which was literally right when COVID was released.
It was the first big game after a lot of stores had to close.
Yeah, it was.
And so like there were stores selling it in their parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Which is stupid. Imagine if this had happened GTA 6 is going to be mostly downloaded. So really, it might have been the last game that could do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'd imagine the majority of GTA 6 sales will be digital.
Mm-hmm.
We can just say they will be, because they will be.
I think I think they've estimated it's going to be something like, they expect it to be like something like 95% or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, like we already know what Sony and Microsoft's numbers are. They're very high, and we know PC is effectively 100%.
Yeah.
So there's no Switch version to pad the number down a little bit. So yeah, it's going to be like 90% would be totally reasonable. So yeah, we may have actually reached the end of the era where this very niche concern that I had never had before of how am I going to play this game if there's a pandemic may no longer be a worry. Mm-hmm. Not because we got rid of pandemics. No. No,
no, don't be silly.
Your kids are getting the fucking measles, and that's all we're going to say about it.
Yep.
But because we're just going to buy the game digitally.
Yeah, then you'll have no choice to do so.
I'm gonna play my game with a bad case of rubella that I downloaded off the internet. It'll be fine.
Yeah, and I mean, really, like Nintendo will hold out for physical games as long as they feel they have to.
And their relationship with retailers matter a lot. They're going to continue to try to transition that relationship to other stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
My Target finished its remodel finally, which felt like it went on for fucking ever. And there's no longer like an aisle and a half of Nintendo Switch stuff. They cut it back to one aisle, but there is effectively no Microsoft section. Mm-hmm. There's a sign to inform you that Microsoft Xbox is a brand that exists.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
I'm not confident that you can spend any money at Target in order to engage with that brand. And then there's a little bit of PlayStation stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. That's the thing. But the Nintendo stuff now, they've started stocking it with non-games. I would say about half the content there is non-games.
Yeah.
And that might be part of a transition that they're working on.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If you don't have any physical games, well, guess what? You don't need to buy any retail space at retail stores.
Yeah, but you do need someone to sell your fucking console.
You do. But I mean, I don't know. These days, who doesn't know about consoles? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. Like,
yeah, I guess I've been so far out of that loop where, like, yes, mom comes in and says, "Hey, which console should I buy?" Yeah.
Let's project out PS6.
Mm-hmm.
At least $1,000, right?
Oh, man, I don't see how it's not going to be some like $999.99 or something absurd like that. I just don't see how it's.
Yeah, I think $1,000 is actually lowballing it.
Oh God, that is so much money for a console. That is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I agree, but the point is, there's not going to be any casual purchases. No. People aren't just going to walk up and go like,
not for a long time.
Oh, new PlayStation, huh?
I mean, the thing is, I think like pretty much like just this is a total tangent, but I think the way the industry is going is basically the cell phones. That's pretty much what we're dealing with. Is it's going to be like you're going to subscribe to Xbox Game Pass or whatever, and it's just going to say, hey, you can on your Xbox plan, you pay whatever X amount of money a month. And then you pay $20 a month for the top. You pay $20 a month on extra on top of that for the lowest level console. $30 a month for the second. $50 a month for the top level console. It's going to be something like that because I don't see.
No,
I just don't see it. I don't see it working any other way. I don't see how they can sell these things for $1,000, $1,200. Nobody's going to buy them.
Hardware as a service and on top of software as a service. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Like, I just don't see it.
What a nightmare.
It's just going to be like when you get a new cell phone and they say, I mean, like, cell phone prices are absolutely insane. Like, yeah, this new phone that you carry around in your pocket and you can drop in the toilet, yeah, it's worth like $1,479 or something like that. Like, it's just insane. And so they spread that over 36 months, right? It's going to be the same thing.
I always buy the Pro model refurbished of last year's model.
Yeah.
Like that's my save $400 out of the gate. But with cell phone prices also going to be struggling to get resources, I imagine they're going to go up too. We're all fucked.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be great. So I do think this ties in with Microsoft saying like, hey, we actually need exclusives because why the fuck would you buy an Xbox if they don't have any exclusives?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's not going to be like because you're not like the concept of being like the value console or the cheapest console. That's gone out the window.
Right. I mean, it's the. Yeah, you're right. It is. It's gone. There isn't one. I was like, oh, well, obviously that's the. I mean, even the Xbox Series S is now ridiculously expensive.
It's like $500 now, right?
Yeah, it's approaching what the Series X was when it was new.
That is, yeah. It's it's bonkers.
I had a console almost double its value according to Microsoft. Now, what is the value of a console that no one is buying?
Yeah.
Infinite? It's divide by zero right now. So undefined. The value of the you know what? That's the most accurate statement. The value of the Xbox is undefined.
Yes.
That is 100% accurate. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to something less sad. Less sad making. John.
But less sad like so you're talking about a post-apocalyptic zombie game.
Yeah, that's less sad.
All right. Yeah, so this will be my my final missive on Days Gone.
Well done.
I'm pretty deep into it now. Probably about maybe 30 hours or so. So I've played quite a bit. Seen pretty much all of the systems that the game has to offer. Deep into the story. I just finished kind of a major plot point in it. It's pretty cool. It's good. It's kind of like what I touched on, last week, where, is it the best open world game I've ever played? No, but I think this game is, I think the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Like, you can kind of pick it apart because, at least the remastered version I'm playing, you can see where they kind of cut a few corners here and there. And what I mean is, just some silly little things like, if you rescue somebody on the side of the road, that's one of the things that you do to get reputation with the different camps that you're trying to, establish, because you raise your reputation with these different kind of refugee camps. And that's how you unlock new weapons and stuff like that at these different camps so you can buy better things, right? If you find someone, at the side of the road, that's kind of like what you do. But when somebody runs away, like when you say, hey, go to this camp, like that's what you direct them to one of the camps. When you say, hey, go to this camp, they just kind of they run out of the camera, right? Because it's a little cutscene. They run out of the camera. Now, if you're playing Grand Theft Auto 5, let's say, if you turn and look, you'll see that person running away from you. But in this game, they just disappear. Even though your character is still talking to them and like, hey, yeah, okay, just keep running that way. It's just little things like that, where like little polished things like that aren't in this game. But it's pretty cool. I think that the story really goes places. I think the characters are probably the strongest thing in this game, which is not what I expected. I expected a lot of the characters to just be like boneheaded and tropey, and they kind of are at the start. But they do a lot of kind of interpersonal stuff, like like the main character, he was his wife is missing. There's a lot of stuff with that, and like there's other kind of women interested in him at the same time, and so there's a lot of like little plot. And like you rescue somebody and that she has a whole kind of side plot and stuff like that. So it's almost kind of like it reminds me sort of like a TV show where there's plots that kind of get started and then they disappear for a while and then something happens and then they come back in. So it's a pretty well written game, much better than I thought it would be. And in terms of the system, I think my main criticism for the game is that it is fairly repetitive. I mean, pretty much what you do. And of course, you have missions, you have a radio and you get missions from people. But really those missions are either, go clear out this camp or, kill all these monsters here or kill this faction or chase down this person. And there are variations of that. So that gets a bit repetitive, but I will say that it is actually fun doing all these different things because you wind up getting, you wind up getting, silencers for your gun. And so you can just go into a camp. You're like, yeah, I'll go into a camp. And you just basically sneak up and you either like stealth kill people or hit them with your, silenced pistol or whatever. And it's just really fun. Eventually, you just headshot everything. You're like, sure, I'll roll into a camp and headshot 15 people. Absolutely. And you just find these, ever escalating, like, quick and efficient ways to kill entire camps of enemies. So, but really, as you move towards the end game, it's not, like, stuff like that just becomes very run-of-the-mill, and you can do it fairly easily because you have good guns. And you generally know what you're doing in terms of stealth and how to approach different encampments, the way that they're set up and stuff like that. Like right now I have a pretty good, like, kind of submachine gun. I have a good pistol and I have a sniper rifle, which can pretty much so I can take out, like, I'm good from range. I'm good from up close, stuff like that. It becomes pretty easy. And so really what becomes the thing that you do for the end game is there's these hordes of enemies, 50 to 100 enemies. And you find out more about them. They have, like, during the day they have nests, and so it becomes and there's an achievement for this. I think there's 41 or 42 hordes in the game, somewhere around there. And so there's an achievement for killing all the hordes, and so that means you kill all 50 zombies or all 100 zombies while they're chasing you. So it becomes a game of strategy where you find, like, they're always in, like, a certain area. Like, one of the biggest hordes in the game is in this sawmill, and so it's this big sprawling area that has, like, this sawmill and this main building where they all kind of nest during the day. And so you have to figure out, all right, well, when am I going to attack them? Well, I'm going to probably attack them. They're stronger at night, so probably going to attack them during the day. And so you have to go in there and figure out a strategy. And I have yet to do this because I don't quite have the weapons I need, or especially the ability to craft everything I need, because, the kind of stuff you want, like, you have a device that can pull aggro on them. So, you throw it and then they'll all run over to this. It's called an attractor, and so it'll suck them all in. And so then, you would do something like you would use a napalm or a pipe bomb or a Molotov cocktail. And all of those can also be upgraded to super effective versions. And I still have the basic version. So that's why I'm not really too gung-ho on trying to take out one of these hordes, because I just don't quite have the stuff that can really do damage. So what you might do is you might, throw down an attractor, then throw one of these incendiary devices in there, blow a bunch of them up. And then, of course, once you do that, they know where you are. And so at that point, you try to get them into a choke point. And you might throw down proximity mines. And, also, you can, with your improved skills as you go through your skill tree, you can focus on, headshots and stuff like that. So, you can kind of see setting up a strategy to take out these various hordes. And then one of the things that they added in the remastered mode, or the remastered version of the game, is an actual horde assault mode, which takes that premise and turns it into a complete separate game mode where, you're presented with all of these kinds of different scenarios, and there's, like, global leaderboards and stuff and points, and there's kind of an experience system that you can go through and unlock a bunch of stuff. And so it's pretty cool. I'm enjoying it. Certainly gonna play it all the way through to the end. It's really pulled me in much more than I thought, and the story is really cool. And I think it's one of those games where I don't think I never really heard anything negative about this game. It's more like I just never really heard anything at all about this game. Silence. This game is just completely forgotten, but it's actually really
negative would be preferable.
Yeah, and it is actually a pretty good game. I mean, it's like I said before. It's like, if you like an open world, if an open world zombie game sounds interesting to you, then Days Gone it's a pretty darn good one. And it's like, again, I don't really think there's many other games. I mean, I know there's stuff like Dying Light, but that's really more parkour kind of. Like, as a zombie game, but that's not like this. It's not like a Grand Theft Auto style type of play, which is what this really is. But yeah, like I would recommend it. There's plenty of plenty of playtime in here, lots of stuff to do, and even though it's repetitive, it doesn't really get boring. In fact, some of the kind of most tedious stuff is the actual story part of it, where you're like, okay, I kind of know where this is going, but you have to kind of go through, because it's a lot of, okay, you and this person ride out to go somewhere, and then you walk over here and there's a cutscene, and then you walk over there and there's a cutscene, and that kind of stuff where you're like, okay, I get it, so it can get a little tedious at times with its storytelling, but its stories are generally good. Like, there's a lot of kind of betrayal, and this camp doesn't like that camp, and you have this sort
survivory stuff.
Yeah, like this cult over here, they have a treaty with this camp. Is that treaty going to hold? Probably not, but maybe. And then this person is trying to undermine it. There's stuff like that. So it's interesting. And it doesn't try to do, I don't think this game tries to do too much, which is, I think, what it's good. Even though it is, because I think open world games, I think they often try to just stuff way too much stuff into it. And this doesn't really do that. Like, you can kind of see the end. Like, I'm probably, for most of the things, I'm maybe around 50 to 60% through, because like all the different storylines, and there's storylines for, you have kind of bounty hunter stuff, and I've done probably about 50 or 60% of those. But yeah, the weapons are cool. There's nothing too outlandish. It's all, pretty much like assault rifles and machine guns and stuff like that. But it's good. I would recommend it. Certainly, it's one of my most pleasant surprises that I've had in the last little while. Just in terms of games that I didn't really. I just took a flyer on it. I was like, maybe it's good. It's like $20 on sale, so I was just like, let's give it a shot. So I'm happy I did so.
I was just about to make a joke about this being a big surprise for you.
Mm-hmm. It absolutely was. I thought it would be. I didn't think it would be horrible, but I thought it would be kind of mediocre and kind of meat-headed.
Fair.
So, but
that was my assessment when I saw it. So I get it.
Yeah, and it's really not that at all. So, but it's pretty good. I would recommend it. So that's it.
Cool. I'm sorry. I was trying to think of if I wanted to ask about anything else. I think I'm good. Guillaume.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about?
Yeah. Well, I haven't dived too deeply into anything. Like, Karen and I are just mostly playing Absalom. It's 50 hours now, probably, on the Xbox version.
This is the new 100 line. I love it.
It's more like the new Streets of Rage 4, which...
Does anybody's head turn into fish? Because if not, we're not the new 100 line.
Nah. But yeah,
damn.
I spent, I can't remember, 200 hours in, Streets of Rage 4. It was... Also, it was our pandemic co-op game, so I thought, that explains that. It was the pandemic. There was no pandemic. Well, I mean, there's no confinement right now, so I don't think that was the thing. I don't think that was. Yes. I don't think the pandemic was all responsible for it. But other than that, I did receive at my local library, I got Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. Which I've only played through the first world so far, it's very cute. I don't know if I have anything that I can say that Greg probably hasn't covered already in a whole lot more detail, especially since he's played a lot more of it than I have so far. But it's cool. I mean, it is kind of like a little interactive kind of toy box thing, and you just go ahead and try to bully these different enemies in various ways, and collect information, I guess, on them, quote unquote. And there's lots of things to collect, but mostly the main attraction is seeing the weird little interactions that you can trigger, seeing what the developers have thought up. Sometimes basically the levels so far, at least, seem to be self-contained. You don't bring stuff from other levels to a previous one to check something out. But sometimes, some games work like that. So I kind of got tricked at some point. Like the first time that there was some water in a level, I was like, okay, Yoshi has his Yoshi's Island physics here. Like he can't sink. What do I do? It seems like there is a tunnel underwater. I can't really get down there. I can't turn into a submarine, which is what the old Yoshi would do. But in this case, there's no submarine transformation. So what the hell? And throughout the level, you play with like these little fluff balls, these little like pollen balls that have like various effects. Like you can create gusts. Basically, you can use your tongue to try to push them to create, towards like rocks, and if it lands on the rocks, and it creates like these little, they sprout, like they reproduce, and they will crack the rock until eventually the rock can break, right? Like they will infest enemies if they're out there just sleeping in a cave, not moving. Then like you just like cover this enemy with these little puffballs, and then like eventually it's like, oh my god, it's eating me alive, and then it runs away. Anyway, so as I said, yeah, like Yoshi just like keeps bullying every creature in this game. But the aforementioned water cavern is not really in a place, like you have to work a little bit more to get the little pollen balls down there. But eventually, once I did, I figured, oh, okay, what you're supposed to do is to, get them down there. Then they just soak up the water like cotton balls. And as they soak up the water, the level of the water drops down. And so then you can enter the cavern. So, like little interactions like this that I didn't really expect, or that, like a little bit surprising, and like it's a fun discovery. And, the levels are short, like they're pretty dense. They're pretty, packed with things to discover. And then, you do the main thing that the game wants you to do in it, and you create the exit, and then you just, get out of there and go check out the next level. I am surprisingly maybe a little bit like struggling with the controls, because I'm used to Yoshi's flutter jump being kind of a pain in the ass to use. Here it's a little bit too easy to use because you can just hold down the jump button, and Yoshi will pretty much flutter indefinitely, which is fine when you're trying to flutter. But when you're just trying to press the jump button as you're landing on an enemy that is going to act as a springboard for you, in classic Mario fashion, if you press the jump button as you stomp on the enemy, like you jump higher. But here, like if you press a little bit too early, Yoshi will, do his flutter kick. And so just delaying the moment when he's actually going to land on the goddamn enemy. And that can be a little bit annoying when you're just trying to nail like kind of a rhythm section where like these enemies are making musical notes, and I forget what the tunes in this game are. They're not row your boat, thankfully, but they're similarly open domain ish. Anyway, like it's cute as hell. It's pretty fun. Usually, like I play through, I scour 2 levels pretty thoroughly, and then I've had my fill for the evening. It's fun to play around.
I didn't mention it last.
Go ahead.
Real quick. I didn't mention it last week, but I played through the demo while the girlfriend was here.
Mm-hmm.
And we both were just kind of shouting things out. This is a really good game for two. Like, yeah, one person's on the controls.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good game for, hey, try that and see if that works or that does anything kind of game.
Yeah.
And that was basically how we played it. Like I drove, but I would say it was 60-40 me controlling that game.
Yeah, it's got that kind of similarity with like point and click adventure games, which
Yeah, a little bit.
yeah, which brings me to like, of course, Greg talking about it made me, like eager to start playing this. But also, I follow Sam Barlow on Blue Sky, who was who's the a game director. Like he did notably Silent Hill, Shattered Memories. But also like Her Story, Immortality, those kinds of games, and he had been, talking up this game as he was playing it, just going like, this is amazing! Can't believe that not, more people are not playing this, talking about it. Like, it's just this combination almost of like, what did he say? Like. Fuck me, I had it earlier, but then I went and I saw what he said about Super Mario Sunshine, and he's pro Sunshine. He's kind of a sicko, to be honest. But as evidenced by his Mario Sunshine love,
opinions devalued instantly.
Well, like he's obviously a very big Nintendo fan, but also like he'll just start talking about like these 70s Italian, like, softcore, I don't know, movies.
Well,
like,
I mean, you say Italian and softcore, that's the same phrase twice.
Right, yeah.
Italian softcore 70s, that's...
I mean, like
Italian cinema of the 70s, softcore. No, yeah, obviously. That's the children's movies.
Yeah, like if you've played Immortality, like you got a pretty good idea of what those movies were like, because they were they pretty much directly inspired that game. But yeah, okay, so I found
they were breasty films would be a good way of describing it.
Yes, and usually a little bit nonsensical. But anyway, so he said that what a delight! It's like someone at Nintendo / Goodfeel played Tokitori 2 and Goblins the same day and then got cooking. And that spoke to me because I love Tokitori 2, like the kind of the puzzles that are not always quite apparent in this 2D side scroller where you've got a limited number of moves that you can do, but the kind of the variety is from the interactions of the various enemies and critters and like in the environment that you can trigger basically from very simple moves. So I can see that comparison. And then Goblins is like this old, like French point and click adventure series, which was basically, like you clicked on various things and like usually like you were trying to decipher, like you would trigger various things and you would try to figure out like what's the proper order to do things in order to get through a level. Like it was not exactly, like it was a little bit different from something from Sierra or LucasArts in that it was more about like, the interactions with the level and a whole lot less, a lot more like visual humor and less, dialogue. But yeah, so that also spoke to me because I played those games as a kid. So I was like, okay, I'm in. I need to check out Yoshi and the Mysterious Book right now, and so I'm doing it.
There you go.
Speaking of goblins, a collection recently came out on Switch and Switch 2. So if you want to know what I'm talking about, just you can get this. I don't know if I recommend it. I would probably need to go revisit it myself to see if it's any good. But apparently, like I knew Goblins 1 and 3. 2 had eluded me as a kid. And then it turns out that they made like a 4th and 5th one of those. And it's kind of funny because I'm looking at the description for the collection, and they say Goblins 4 like makes like for the very first time and like with 3D graphics, and then 5 is like the glorious return to 2D. It's like, yeah, that makes sense. I don't know if like the transition to 3D would be a happy one.
We made it. We made this. We made a mistake, and we have reversed it.
Yes. And yeah, beyond that, like the main thing that I did is that I finally unpacked the cardboard Virtual Boy headset that I bought when I went to Japan. Like the first thing I did was like try out the N64 controller, and then I kind of forgot about the Virtual Boy. But recently, with the release of Dragon Hopper and what's the other one, Zero Racer?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, seems like a good time to finally check this out. And I don't have... I played through the tutorial, basically, of Dragon Hopper. It seems nice. Like, the 3D effect really pops. That's the main thing. Like, that's the main thing I can talk about, is that, like, putting that stupid thing to my face, I was kind of, like, taken over by like the novelty of it. Like I was like, this is actually really cool. Like it made me wish that I had gotten a Virtual Boy back in the day, which is ridiculous because that would have been, it was kind of dead on arrival. It's kind of rewriting history to think that I would have had a great time if I had paid,
You would have played Waterworld and you would have been a different man.
That never came out, did it? Is like, or is there a version that people?
Yeah, but that Waterworld did make it to retail. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, that would have been amazing, I guess. But yeah,
Ocean published it. Let's not get crazy here.
Yeah,
right.
And I would argue Guy would be a better man, just for the record. But
yeah,
it is what it is.
No doubt. But yeah, like so.
No doubt, he says. No, I'm quite
Without
quite a lot of
skipping
doubt
a
about
beat
the
behind
statement.
you. Yeah, no doubt. Anyways, moving on.
Yes. Well, that's it. Like it's it's a stupid novelty, but it's kind of neat. Like I was like, oh my god, this is really cool.
It's dumb and it's impressive that it works, despite the fact it's very dumb.
I might have to figure out like maybe the settings. Like I don't know if I adjusted the distance between the pictures quite well enough, because I found that towards the edges of the screen the view is pretty warped. But I don't know if that's like authentic Virtual Boy vision or if I just like need to toy with something somewhere. But I found that like if I look at the edges of the screen or whatever, like the lens was kind of creating a warping effect. But anyway, other than that, like it was, it's cool to see that 3D pop so much. It feels somehow different and more impressive than the 3D on the 3DS. Maybe because it seemed to come out, perhaps like maybe there seemed to be more depth to the screen. I don't know. But yeah, and Dragon Hopper seems to be perfectly fine so far. I need to spend more time with it. One of the issues is that when I was testing the Virtual Boy headset, I was actually it was like right before we were recording last week's episode, and I was sitting up, and I had to hold the thing to my face, and it was it was not exactly super comfortable. I need to actually find a place to lie down on my back to let the weight of the Virtual Boy headset rest on my face to, I think, play a game that seems to be a little bit more meaty than 98% of the rest of the Virtual Boy library.
Very low bar.
Yeah.
As the owner of, I think, 10 Virtual Boy games, I would say the meatiest thing here is probably like
has to be Wario Land, no?
Even that's relatively thin, but yeah, probably. There's the 3D shooter that's all wireframes. It's almost impossible to follow.
Red Alarm.
I'm like Red Alarm. Yeah, Red Alarm's got something there. Teleroboxer's just impossible. It's not deep. It's not deep. It's just impossible.
Sure.
So yeah, it's probably Wario Land, but even then, like, this is measuring depth in a world of empty puddles.
Sure. Yeah, well, Dragon Hopper, from what I've seen online, people got through it very quickly, so it's probably a very short game, but it is, more adventure-y, more, classically video gamey, I guess. I'm looking forward to playing through it.
Cool. Anything else?
Nope, that's it for me this week.
All right, Greg, take us home.
Yeah, not a lot new to report, really. I've been plugging away at Sonic Mania again for the retroactive. And,
Next week.
Still Splatoon Raiders, as I said, into the post-game. So, yeah, definitely kind of more outright grindy kind of stuff at this point, in terms of playing a lot of kind of those dungeon type levels are referred to, where you've got to kill enough of the salmonids to get enough of the power eggs to clear a certain threshold. And so it's a race against time. It's got more of that classic kind of frantic feel and confined feel of like typical salmon run. But with at this point now in the post game, really kind of ratcheting up the difficulty, and it kind of essentially you're kind of forcing you to play in conditions more like the top difficulty, which I didn't choose from the beginning. But now it's like, okay, well, you're going to have to deal with this. It does, even though that element of it is, very kind of like, you're not really seeing new bosses, you're not seeing new levels or, kind of new places, anything like that. What it is doing is kind of putting you to the test of like, okay, all the stuff that you've leveled up, all the kind of toolkit that you've built up, how can you, kind of put it to best use? How can you make the most efficient use of some of these kind of combinations and things and upgrade some stuff and, to be able to clear these thresholds in time? And this is where, I think the whole thing kind of, is kind of graphically, visually, it's only kind of subtly kind of different from from Splatoon on Switch 1 to a fair degree, but it was always kind of like, but there's way more going on basically for it to be able to kind of sustain the stable frame rate and all that was kind of impressive. Getting into the post-game stuff, it's much more like, wow, like there is just so much going on here. There are, so many enemies, so many attacks. You've got your own kind of, they call it the showstoppers, like the kind of ultimate attack that you can unleash, which, can kind of clear a bunch of stuff. So it's very frenetic, it's very intense, and it can be accordingly, kind of really quite exhilarating at times, but it just, everything's closing in around you and you get the, you build up the meter enough to snap off an ultimate, or it's like, you just need to be able to get to one egg to like finish it in time, but it's over there and you got to find a way to get there, fast enough and stuff and just get it there into, in time. It could be, even though, now it feels like it's the most like, okay, you've seen pretty much everything of like substance the game has got to offer, but we want to test how actually good at the game you are. It's kind of, in some ways, you really kind of get into it now in the post game. You really get to see just how intense it could be. So I've probably played it a little bit more than I was expecting, but in substance, really, nothing terribly different. So, that's about it.
Cool. All right. Well, on that, we are going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to do some listener mail. So stay tuned. We are back with listener mail. You send emails. Now, I'm not saying can. I'm saying you send them to rfn at NintendoWorldReport.com. I'm taking the option away from you. This is now a demand. It's not even a demand. It's an imperative. I'm stating that you do it. And you should continue to do it. That is rfn at NintendoWorldReport.com. In spite of our recent discovery that Google's spam filter has decided to eat some of your emails. Can I explain why this is happening? No. Are these new email writers? No. These are people who have written us successfully many times in the past. But Google has decided now, no, not real. Not Can you imagine for a single second that someone would send you spam, as the term is traditionally defined, about Star Ocean Another Story R? I do not live in that world. I cannot imagine that world. I would like to live in that world. That world sounds better than the world I presently occupy. But Google does live in that world. So, just a heads up. We're going to keep an eye on it. But hey, just a heads up. If we missed your email, I'm sorry. Anyway, we're gonna do emails that we didn't miss. Only one of which required salvation from the spam filter. And I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask John to read the first email.
I don't have those in my chat.
They are in the chat.
I do not have them in my chat, so therefore that's
they are not. They did not send. Hold on.
There you go.
Let me press resend. There we go. Fuck technology.
Nigerian Prince writes.
Yeah, Nigerian Prince writes about Star Ocean. Another story R. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know who wrote this. It's not showing it.
Oh yeah,
it's not.
The first one we're
GX.
missing the Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't copy it all. GX writes.
Okay, GX writes. Dear RFN, I have a problem, and that problem is Pokopia. I like it. I like it quite a lot. I'm approaching 400 hours in the game. I fully expect hitting 500 or more by the time I'm done. If Koei Tecmo can Dynasty Warriors, if Koei Tecmo can Dynasty Warriors any franchise. Sorry, I didn't realize that Dynasty Warriors was a verb.
Dynasty Warriors is a verb in the sentence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then I have to believe they can also Minecraft any franchise. We have Dragon Quest. We have Pokemon. What other franchise can we turn into a cube punching, house building, society reconstructing, crafting game? Peace, GX.
We are coining new verbs.
Yeah.
That's because that's what we do here at Radio Free Nintendo. We coin new verbs. And by that I mean we have you coin new verbs. Somehow this was not one of the emails that needed to be rescued from the spam filter. Google was A-okay with this.
Yeah.
So the question is, so Koei Tecmo has never done this one of their own franchises. Like one of them is a Square Enix franchise. One of them is a Nintendo / Creatures / Pokemon Company / Game Freak franchise. So it doesn't have to be one of theirs. In fact, it might benefit from not being one of theirs. As much as I would love to see them make a Ninja Gaiden one of these things.
Well, I mean, there's the obvious.
Because I don't even know what the fuck that would be.
The obvious answer is the answer with most things is Day of Crisis. That's just Pokopia Day of Crisis.
It's going to be after the disaster. You know, it's the natural sequel. Every possible disaster
does that mean you craft the stupid fucking pocket watch? Is that the end game?
that's I think that's the end game. You definitely have to protect yourself from bears, tornadoes.
It's all already happened,
true.
So everything needs to be rebuilt. It is very much a start from scratch scenario.
There's a mech with a weather controlling device.
I've not played Pokopia. I've heard people talk about it, so it's kind of has to be kind of coy and oblique about what happened to the point where we must rely on a single ditto to kind of reconstruct the Pokemon-based society that existed before. Whereas with Disaster, I mean, there's no need. We know everything happened.
Too much happened. I want to do a Koei Tecmo game. I want it to be a Koei Tecmo franchise. I think they deserve it. And then I go review Koei Tecmo's primary franchises, and I realize they do not, in fact, deserve it. This is you got to give it to them, and in fact, you do not have to give it to them. John, I want you to think about the concept of Tecmo Bowl as a Pokopia game.
Yeah.
As a Minecraft, I can't even contemplate. The only thing that comes up, the only fucking thing that comes up. So you're building a city, you're completing story missions, you're trying to attract people back to a place and help them settle in and make them feel at home while also solving a mystery and a story. The only franchise I could come up with that Koei Tecmo owns that fits this exactly is Dead or Alive Extreme. You're building New Zack Island, and you're trying to attract all the women of Dead or Alive back to New Zack Island after it blew up because Zack's giant robot head crashed into it, destroyed the last New Zack Island. This is New Zack Island. And the thing is, that's basically the plot of the Dead or Alive Extreme Vita game. So, like, I'm not even reaching here. This is a remarkable lack of a reach. And honestly, I kind of want this game to... I don't know that I want to play this game. I don't know that I want to be anywhere near... I don't want to be in the same room as this game. But I kind of want this game to exist just so I can hear other people talk about it while I cackle uncontrollably. Because, like, what else is it going to be, Atelier? This game's already about crafting.
Yeah.
Nobunaga's Ambition? Can you fucking imagine a Nobunaga's Ambition Minecraft? No, you can't. The human brain can't do that. There's too much. The human brain cannot put those two things together. Science is not ready for that. So we're really left with, like, Deception, the game about putting traps in there in what is definitely not somebody's BDSM fetish game. It is definitely someone's BDSM fetish game. Dynasty Warriors Minecraft, which is a phrase so stupid I can't get it out of my mouth. Minecraft Dynasty Warriors, which is the Street Fighter X Tekken to your Tekken X Street Fighter.
I mean, Monster Rancher is really the only one that even comes close.
You're gonna
right?
craft CDs to summon new monsters.
Yeah.
Fuck. Do people even know what Monster Rancher is?
I don't really know anything about it.
Besides the fact that Suezo keeps showing up in games as a guest character for some fuck-ass reason. So Monster Rancher was... this was a Koei game, I believe. It might have been Tecmo. I can't remember now. This was their answer to the monster catching craze of Pokemon. And it was a PlayStation game because PlayStation didn't have one of these. And it had an anime, it had toys, it had card games. But the idea was you catch monsters and raise them, hence the ranch part. And you catch them by putting different CDs into your PlayStation 1. Because the game was small enough that it could load the disc into memory. And then you could put other CDs in there, and it would use the data for other CDs to figure out what monster you should summon. And the world story conceit was like these were the monster summoning discs.
Oh, man. Yeah?
Yeah, it's fucking wild. But Suezo, who's a giant eyeball who with a yellow stalk that bounces around on his stalk and is very unsettling with his big giant toothy grin, for whatever reason became a mascot character and was in a fucking monkey ball game recently. I don't know.
This whole CD thing is blowing my mind. Some discs are designed to produce specific monsters, often thematically related to the disc in question. For instance, this is on Wikipedia.
Yep.
Monster Rancher 4, the Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets DVD, as well as the tie-in PlayStation 2 game, generates a unique owl monster.
Yes.
And in Monster Rancher 2 and Monster Rancher 4, Tecmo's Dead or Alive game creates a pixie named Kasumi. Special CDs called Pandora discs can produce multiple monsters. Often, the Monster Rancher game CD itself is a Pandora disc. Why did I not know this? This is so dumb.
Oh, yeah,
I feel like I've really missed the boat here.
It's beautifully stupid. And the anime was just mind-numbingly dumb. Like, just right on the other edge of is this parody or not?
In Monster Rancher DS, the system is revised to take advantage of the Nintendo DS's input devices. Monsters can be generated by speaking into the microphone, drawing figures on the bottom screen, or inserting a Game Boy Advance game cartridge in the second slot.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Man. Like, you learn something new, I tell you. Man.
This series is truly demented. Yeah, it's wild. I adore this dumb, stupid series. I really do.
And of course they have an Ultraman themed spin-off. Of course they do.
Fuck yeah, they do. You can get the Ultraman license, brother. But, like, are we going to Mighty Bomb Jack Minecraft? No, we're not going to do that. So I'm sticking with my Dead or Alive Extreme answer. The more I think about it, the less I want to play it, but the more I need it to exist.
Yeah, Ultra Kaiju Monster Rancher. The generation system uses NFC devices such as mobile phones, payment cards,
NFC devices,
payment cards, and transit passes alongside special codes.
Scan your payment card into this Monster Hunter game. I promise it's safe.
This is too much. I did not know. Man, again, I feel like I've just
Monster Rancher stole my identity, but I got this cool kaiju.
Absolutely, man. Wow, I did not know. I did not know this is the case. This is like Bangai-O Spirit's level of stupidity. Man.
I love, except they've been doing it for 30 years.
For 30 years. It's just, and it just like, yeah, like, oh, man. Oh.
This is what RFN does. Sometimes we come in here talking about a console that never released because we're gonna bring the Konix vision to life.
Yeah.
And sometimes we talk about a thing that shouldn't have released, but did for 30 straight years.
That Ultraman spinoff that came out for the Switch in 2022.
Ah!
Yeah, I mean these games are still coming out. Like 2021 was Monster Rancher 1 and 2 DX.
The whole story conceit was that CDs are magical discs.
Yeah.
But since nobody makes them anymore, you have to scan your Ioka train pass.
It's crazy.
Oh, I still have mine. I'm gonna go dig out my Southern Japan train pass so I can summon a monster. Be great. Lord. You know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that is the right answer for this. All right. So, presumably we're not going to use a Koei Tecmo franchise, because they aren't.
Yeah, well, you said it about the commercial imperative of their biggest selling games ever, ones with Nintendo properties on. So they're probably
biggest selling games in history are Nintendo.
They're probably not workshopping the Monster Rancher route right now.
Not unless they can make it Kirby Monster Rancher.
But yeah, maybe like it's the proximity to Dragon Quest, but immediately I thought, well, what's a bigger franchise than Dragon Ball? That kind of fits perfectly the idea of rebuilding after, demolishing the shit out of the world, basically. Like, how about, because I've read the manga, during the pandemic, the confinement, but
yeah,
I did not watch a whole lot of the anime, but like I did see the start of Dragon Ball Super, where basically Goku is like, I think he's in like a tractor, like he's supposed to be a farmer or something, and
he's a farmer,
right?
Yeah.
So you could, build on that maybe, like, yeah, sure, like this guy can basically destroy a planet, but right now, like he needs to make amends after just almost destroying, whatever place he's at. And so, like you have to go ahead and rebuild for the people of, what's it called? Not Bubble City, whatever. Anyway.
Oh, I can't remember. I don't want to be Goku though, because like Ditto is the most unassuming Pokemon. So,
right.
You need to be like Poir, the little floating cat thing. Character that nobody thinks about, ever. And I had to pull Poir because the brain channel was character nobody thinks about in Dragon Ball. Character that nobody thinks about that nobody thinks about in Dragon Ball. Poir, done it. We got there.
You could have gone with Yamcha, but no, you really wanted, like, obscure.
I went Yamcha's sidekick. We went even deeper. We must go deeper, Guillaume. Yamcha's sidekick that he himself forgets about. It's great. I like the idea though. I like where your head's at. I like the idea of like, hey, we're just gonna blow up this city, and then next season it's gonna be the second generation kids. So this will be the third generation. Or the youngest of the second generation, wandering around the mall shopping. I'm like, didn't the city get blown up by a giant pink monster who turns people into candy? Society is very resilient in the Dragon Ball universe. They are absolutely willing to risk being turned into candy and eaten again for the opportunity to get 6 sales. I like this. I like this, Guillaume. I like where your head's at. They will have to pay Namco Bandai, who I believe has the Dragon Ball franchise, but fuck it.
Yeah.
So many people are going to get their beak wet on this game. Have we ever considered that like the World Martial Arts Tournament is just a way to pump government money into reconstruction projects? So they destroy a bunch of shit and then they go, oh, well, I guess we're going to have to do stimulus.
Mm.
It's something to think about. Which is definitely more thought than Akira Toriyama put into any second of Dragon Ball ever. John, I need you to verbify the noun that is Minecraft, a video game.
You need me to Minecraft a video game?
Yeah. As a verb.
Give it the Minecraft treatment, if you will.
Yeah. Mushroomy Kingdom from Smash Brothers. Just that one stage.
I think you could do it with. I think you could do something with Super Mario RPG. I think you could do that.
I can see it.
Yeah. That's one I would think of because I just don't think you could do it with any Mario anything, but I feel like that could work. Just because a lot of it, like I could see a lot of the moves that you use in battle, I could see those kind of being recycled to, destroy blocks or stuff like that. I could see that. And like you're already using a hammer and like a lot of tools and stuff like that, so I think that could potentially work. And I think the kind of whimsical sort of world of that game could also work for sort of a Minecraft-y sort of Pokopia kind of game, I think that's almost too serious an answer.
Almost. I mean, it's certainly more serious than Dead or Alive Extreme. I will give you
yes,
that.
I will admit, just a little bit, just a touch.
And yet, Dead or Alive Extreme might still work really well, and I hate it.
It's definitely more likely.
God, that's dark. All right, anybody else got one, or are we ready to move on?
I think perhaps, but if you kind of ever going to extrapolate a little bit from where these games have gone, maybe if you say a Pikmin scenario where it's full on, they're going to terraform a planet. We're tired of having to worry about running out of air in 30 days or having enough fruit to make juice to keep us alive and all that. We're actually going to go there. And, we're going to obviously, team up with the Pikmin again, but we're going to we're going to make it habitable first for whatever those people are. And they seemingly come from different planets sometimes, right?
Oh,
like Olimar and
from every game.
Louis are not from the same planet as some of the other crews or whatever.
Yeah.
But, they some kind of collaboration between these, they're going to make it habitable first and then develop it with you customizing cities, settlements, all this kind of stuff, and of course the menagerie would feature prominently, right, putting all these bizarre creatures that you've ever seen in Pikmin games to use rather than just killing them and lugging their corpses back to be repurposed into Pikmin whatever, organic material that can shoot out of seeds.
That's a good one, too. I think we've got lots of good answers, and if any of these happen, we can sue for our cut.
Excellent.
I think
so.
That's how it works.
In a wonderful instance of serendipity, today on Amazon, you could buy two $10 gift cards for Nintendo for like $8.50 or something like that. So I picked up $20 worth.
Nice.
And guess what's on sale for $15 on the eShop right now?
Dead or Alive Extreme? Ultra
Kaiju Monster Rancher, my friend.
No.
So I'm gonna pick that up right now.
What a waste of $15.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
But I wouldn't pay more than $15 for it. But
that's fair.
I am curious enough. I'm just like, and the thing is, it's like if you look at the, because really, I don't really care what this game does except this: a new regeneration method. NFC-compatible devices such as transportation IC cards and more can be used to generate kaiju. The NFC device will generate a unique kaiju based on various properties. Experiment with NFC devices to find out what kind of kaiju will be generated.
How many
sign.
NFC devices does the average Japanese person own?
I don't know. How many? I mean, Amiibo are really the only. I mean, I guess my phone.
Your phone.
Amiibo.
If you've got a watch, it might have it.
Yeah.
If you have a smartwatch.
But like, I can't think of much. You know.
Don't they have the cards for the train? Like NFC or something.
Yeah. The Ioka card is a train card, but like even they don't use that anymore. They use Google Wallet or Apple Wallet.
Sure, yeah, it seems a little bit kind of antiquated, I guess.
This is like every time they try to base this franchise around a communication system, a digital communication system, that system goes and dies. So it's like self-seals. Oh
my god, this looks ridiculous.
I love it.
Yeah, but it's.
I mean, it doesn't look ridiculous. John.
It is.
I promise
it is
you, it is ridiculous.
It's 70% off. This just looks so stupid. It's 70% off, and so that's Lindemann territory, baby.
I love it.
Bring
Lindemann territory, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot be within 100 feet of a school.
Oh, and there's DLC for it too.
Of course there's DLC.
There's Ultra Kaiju Monster Rancher Starter Pack. That's $5 though. I mean, that's a little bit too pricey for my taste.
$5? Come on.
I will wishlist that DLC though. You know, I'm sure I'll have plenty to do. Plenty.
I'm sure you will expend the full breadth of this fucking game.
Plenty of Monster Ultra Kaiju Monster Rancher. Wow.
You're going to be knocking on your neighbor's doors. Do you have any NFC devices? I need to scan them to my Switch.
Just wondering. Hi. Yes.
Hi, my name is John. I need you to scan things to my Switch, please.
I'm from the
slam.
The Kaiju Ranching Council, and I was just wondering, do you have any NFC devices in your home?
Local Kaiju Ranching Council.
the local Kaiju Ranching Council. Yes.
I'm running for Kaiju Ranch Council office. Okay, I don't know what the term for it is.
I mean, I'm
running for Kaiju Ranch Commissioner.
Even though, to be fair, I did just get $20 in gift cards on discount, so I could just get that $5 and just like call it a day. Like that's just even. You know what I mean? I might just do that. Because what am I really saving that $5 for? I don't know. Something else.
Because you're going to really expend the totality. You want to make sure you explore every nook and cranny of this thing.
Let's be honest. I got to get the full experience here. I'll dip to $5. I'll dip to $5. I mean, it was meant to be, is what I'm saying. Right?
I reiterate my theory from last week that I might actually be the catalyst for dumb shit happening on this show, even if I'm not directly responsible.
Yep.
Because I've now heard both episodes I missed.
So the bundle contents here: the Ultra Kaiju Monster Rancher, a Scavenger Giant of Light Skin, the Science Party Mochi, and then item set 1 and item set 2. Don't know what any of that does, but let's buy it. Here we go. We're done. There you go.
Amazing.
So there you go. That's serendipity in action.
John, have you considered healthier options like Merge Mansion?
That's right. You know, Bing Rewards probably a better choice. I know.
I know. You can make a saw out of 2 hammers.
Yes.
By the way, officially, I've probably passed the 7 days of,
we're safe.
I never reinstalled it, yeah, so the save is gone. I don't feel tempted to go and merge tools or whatever.
Once an addict, always an addict, Guillaume. Remember that.
That's right. Now you're in recovery.
Yep.
What is she hiding? As she presses the phrase, "He is alive" to the window. I don't know. She's not really hiding it, is she? This conversation. So that conversation, just to give some weird side story here, led to me watching the weird, messed up ads on YouTube for that game for like 20 minutes. It's just like people who have collected the weird, stupid ads for that game and posted them in YouTube videos. It's art. It's art. It's not good art. It's bad art. Art can be bad. And anybody who says art can't be bad, art is inherently good. Nope. You're wrong. Let me introduce you to this Merge Mansion video. This is undeniably art, but also undeniably terrible. Guillaume, would you read the next email? This should be Andrew.
Sure. Andrew from Georgia writes, Gentlemen, as a youngster, many of the games I played on N64 and GameCube were Western-developed sports, racing, and first-person shooter games. Stuff like Madden, MVP Baseball, Tony Hawk, SSX, Need for Speed, Beetle Race Adventure Racing, the Bond games, and Time Splitters. Over the last 20 years, these types of games have largely been absent or severely compromised on Nintendo systems. As a primarily Nintendo gamer, I lost connection with most non-indie Western games. I have long bemoaned the reluctance of Western publishers to release on Nintendo. But recently, there has been a bit of a return on Switch and Switch 2. Madden, MLB The Show, and NBA 2K all see annual releases. We got
Madden came out today, actually.
That's true. We got the recent Tony Hawk remasters. The new Bond game is coming to Switch 2. Western publishers seem willing to release on Switch 2 when feasible, which is great to see. However, now that the games are actually here, I find myself lacking enthusiasm to purchase or play most of these games. I think at this point, my gaming tastes have largely been shaped by what has been featured on Nintendo consoles and handhelds over the last 20 years, which tends toward first-party and Japanese publishers. I find myself in a situation where I am unwilling to put my money where my mouth was in supporting these Western publishers. Do any of you feel the same? Partly? Maybe?
Oh, very similarly, I'd say. I mean, it's kind of interesting because, of course, like, you know, with the Super Nintendo generation, you know, we had Super Famicom, we were importing, you know, and it was obviously a lot of Japanese stuff and obviously a lot of Nintendo stuff. But, you know, kind of some way into that generation, you know, there was a lot of the EA Sports games got really, really good reviews in the magazines over here, whether they were, you know, sports that were that popular over here or not, right? It's just like stuff like Madden, NHL. They review very well, and it was sort of generally at first they were not on Super Nintendo at all. It took them a little while to show up on Super Nintendo, those games. And then even when they did, the Genesis or Mega Drive version was generally regarded as being better, and it was more their kind of EA's lead platform, right? The margins were better. They had essentially a very favourable arrangement with Sega, didn't they, where they could actually make the cartridges. Hence, they had those very peculiar yellow sort of segments on the cartridge. This like little kind of kind of notch on there that was yellow, you know, that showed you it was an EA cartridge. You know, they had a sweetheart deal, basically, you know, to do stuff on Mega Drive. So, yeah, eventually, I guess the Super Nintendo market was too big to ignore completely, but still, you know, everybody kind of knew that that's where those games, you know, were best played, and, you know, they had a really good reputation. So I think a few times my older brother would rent out a console, you know, a PAL Mega Drive from a video store, and we'd play Madden and stuff. And then eventually we did get a PAL Mega Drive, you know, when it was kind of relatively affordable. And again, a lot of the times we'd rent games. I definitely remember renting NHL, stuff like that. But played lots of Madden, played lots of the first FIFA back when the World Cup was last in the US, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, we got to like those games. We just didn't spend nearly as much money on them, or ask our parents to spend nearly as much money on them as we did on the Nintendo stuff. But of course, what happened when you got to the N64 generation is, you know, Nintendo effectively kind of, you know, took that became their part of the market, and they lost the Japanese part of the market, right? They, you know, took over, you know, Sega's kind of role, right? So they had a lot of, you know, multiplayer was really big, kind of arcade sports, but also, yeah, stuff based on, you know, a lot of American sports stuff. That's because not only, you know, did EA show up there, you know, eventually kind of thing, but you had a lot of the Acclaim sports stuff, right? NFL Quarterback Club, All-Star Baseball, and All-Star Baseball in particular reviewed pretty well. I had that. So, you know, yeah.
Nintendo had some internal stuff too.
Indeed, yeah, like Griffey
Angel
and all.
Studios.
Yeah, so I mean, like it was a N64 kind of. To some extent, it merged two separate kind of strands of stuff that we liked, right? You still obviously had the Nintendo stuff, and the big, Mario, Zelda, all that kind of thing. But then, some of the stuff we actually liked on Mega Drive, its kind of successors or, competitors in some cases, were on N64. So that was kind of convenient. Of course, in the meantime, what happened was like all those Konami and Capcom games that you liked were just gone, basically. Yeah. Although, I mean, there was some, for instance, International Superstar Soccer was a Konami game that we liked on Super Nintendo, and the N64 versions were pretty good of that, actually. But, obviously the Japanese third-party stuff kind of went by the wayside. But yeah, I've played a lot of sports games on N64, played a lot of multiplayer in general, so it just kind of went really well. But I'd say probably where it really, in some ways where it peaked for me was GameCube, because especially like I said, like Quarterback Club, Madden on N64, they kind of reviewed okay, quite well and stuff, but it always felt so damn sluggish to me compared to the 2D Maddens on Mega Drive. And this is even having played PAL Madden, bear in mind, that was slower. But it just felt like the move to 3D, obviously it had advantages and it's just where everything was going, but it didn't feel like the same kind of pace and intensity of actual NFL football at that point. And it just kind of felt like it was a little generation too early. When you get to GameCube, the graphics, they look nicer, but it also just seemed smoother, more realistic, higher speed. I mean, I'm sure if you have not gone back to those Madden GameCube games naturally for, 20 years or anything, but so it might seem kind of amusing for me to characterize it as such now. But relative to the N64 stuff and presumably, PlayStation, Saturn, anything from that kind of time period, it was a big upgrade. And I spent a lot more time with Madden in that generation than, I had done in the N64 one. But of course, then Wii happens, and even though there were like some, like Madden stuff on Wii, would they all play? I want to call it. I think that's what EA called their kind of like
I was talking about
family outreach kind of version of some of their games, and there were an all definitely an all
play ones or whatever. No, that's
a modern service. I've got all play in my head. I don't know if that's correct because it's ages ago. And I never actually bought one of those. I just remember kind of monitoring it but not bothering. And then, I think by the time I got a PS3, for instance, like I got a version of Madden for that, and it'd been a few years, and I'm just playing it and thinking, God, like I'm just so out of the loop, like I can't like cope with this anymore. And that was probably about like 5 years between games. So like now it's like, okay, it would like switch to today, but it's just the thought of it. I mean, maybe I'm overstating how much Madden games have actually changed, but still, when it's like 15 years, it's still...
They usually introduce a big new feature every year. Now, does that feature stick around next year?
And there's a compound effect, right, over time, right. And not everything sticks, but I assume, it's just, I don't think I could handle it at this point. Probably, but I'd be more interested probably in the show, which I actually like quite a lot on PlayStation.
It's hard. It's really hard. I've tried repeatedly. It's a tough game.
But especially, because it's been on Switch, it'd be nice if you get a Switch 2 kind of dedicated version eventually that takes advantage of, the hardware, because it sounds like it's a bit of a strain on the original Switch. But I guess the point is, I've been on a very similar journey to Andrew, really, where it's like, Nintendo kind of already had that kind of enjoyment of sports games, but even before Nintendo kind of went there, but then violently went away from it. I guess, it did start with the GameCube era because they pivoted to try and court Japanese developers again. Right. But there was enough parity with the platform that it still could get, a lot of those Western publishers, and again, stuff like Time Splitters, obviously, again, the sort of succession of the shooters that were popular on N64, continuing somewhat into the GameCube era. But yeah, once Wii is just such a hard line of kind of, okay, we're going our own way. A lot of third parties, I mean, Japanese or Western, didn't really go with them. They didn't really necessarily believe that it was going to be that successful. And even when it is, it's hard to kind of, do the U-turn and say, yeah, we'll wholeheartedly embrace this now. And so you got like sort of half measures. And there was even a little bit of that with the Switch, I think, as well, wasn't there? For as long as that generation went on, there was some of that same, like, people there weren't, after Wii U, it's hard to blame them, I guess. They weren't they weren't entirely convinced, and so, they weren't in on the ground floor, and then it becomes, it took all the way up to the breakup between EA and FIFA to get a version of EA's football game that was actually somewhat close to like feature parity with the others, right? Other than that, it was basically that legacy edition type crap where it's like you put it on there, but you're not really actively developing it. It's just like roster updates of an old version of it. So that was, only a few years ago, way deep into the Switch generation. So I think what's interesting that what Andrew's talking about here is the fact that Switch 2, because it's the first platform after Nintendo's re-established its kind of commercial credibility with third parties, not outside of Japan especially, then you do feel like you've reached a place that we haven't been in for a very, very long time. I mean, it's good to have stuff like what you've got recently. Obviously, yes, some of it is kind of from Japanese partners like Capcom, getting a Resident Evil 9 on the same day and all that, for instance. But those games are very much, they're not just like games that they think will do well in Japan. Those are global games, and it reflects a broader kind of global attitude, I think, of like, this stuff can sell on Nintendo because they've got a platform that can handle it, and they've got, the popularity to make it work.
Anybody else got thoughts? I think Greg kind of got everything I wanted to say.
Yeah, well, I've never been into sports except I did play, like the NBA Street games. Those were fun on GameCube, but then they stopped making them. So that's kind of the issue. I think that, yes, probably my tastes have changed, have been shaped by the games that I've been playing mostly on Nintendo consoles since the GameCube. But the games that these publishers publish also change a whole lot. And so there's nothing for me to return to. Like, there's no familiarity with what their products are now. I don't know. Like, there's no SSX for me to play now. Like, there's just... There are some, like, indies...
We're going to rebuild the mountain in a Minecraft for SSX, tricky.
I think that like some indie developers trying to, like making a kind of a spiritual successor to SSX, but like that's basically what you have to turn to because EA is not making those games anymore. They're too busy Ultimate Team-ing. I don't know. Sorry, I was going to turn that into a verb, but that's...
I mean, we got the point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like, still today, like the part of that is because Nintendo took so long, apparently, to get development kits in the hands of a lot of developers and publishers. But like, still, we're getting some late ports, and so again, like that kind of it doesn't completely kill my desire to play those games, but it does kill my desire to pay full price to play those games. Ubisoft, like, as good as their Star Wars open world game is, or the latest the Assassin's
Outlaws.
Creed in Japan, like by all accounts, seems like it's very good, but can I wait until it's $20? Absolutely. So like, at this point, why wouldn't I? Like, but yeah, like that's kind of a well-known thing, right? About especially Ubisoft, like they've kind of been training us to wait for the deep discounts because
this game just came out today. Wait for Wednesday; it'll be on sale.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I learned today, speaking of Ubisoft, that basically if it weren't for the heavily subsidized salaries of their employees, like the Quebec government subsidizes the salaries of Ubisoft employees here to the tune of like they used to the tune of like 37%, and now it's been changed recently to like 20 something. But
that's still really high.
Except for Ubisoft, which like they had a contract with them. Like apparently we're doing that until like 2030 at least. But if it weren't for this fact, Ubisoft would not have been profitable since like the mid 2000, like 2008 or something.
I find that depressing on a lot of levels.
Yeah. Considering the amount of games that they make, it's that is pretty wild.
Yeah.
Well, like a bunch of yeah, that's crazy. Like I'm just thinking like the taxes of some French-speaking pensioner are being paid in order to keep Ubisoft executives in the black.
Yeah,
it's like what to what end? Are we really coming out ahead here?
It's such an artificial way to supposedly boost the economy. It's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, well, it doesn't boost the economy because there's a shortage of computer programmers and like other, outside of the video game industry in Quebec. Like like they can easily poach good programmers from other companies that would need them. So it's like because we subsidize anyway, like it makes no sense. But whatever. Yeah. So
that's a big subsidy though. That's bonkers.
I didn't know it was that big. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. And Ubisoft,
I would like a big subsidy.
And there used to be a time when I had like a soft spot for, again, Ubisoft games, but I don't anymore because they don't really make the kind of games that they used to make. Like there was like this racing game called Speed Devils on the Dreamcast, but it was called Speed Busters on PC. I don't know why. Like it was completely absurd. It had like this long ass FMV intro with Quebec actors in it that made no sense. The premise was that like some cop won big at the lottery, and it would like basically in certain parts of the tracks of the racing game, you get radared. You get the faster you go, the more money you get from this cop who went crazy winning the lottery, and he's just like paying you to go fast now. So
that's right. It's the anti-ticket.
Yeah. So it was like absolutely, silly and I don't know. Yeah, it was kind of charming in a way, but Ubisoft doesn't make those anymore. Like they just crank out Assassin's Creed games every 1 or 2 years, and by a team working on it worldwide, and then getting sacked or whatever.
A multicultural worldwide team, as all Ubisoft disclaimers state.
Yeah.
I'm going to just jump straight to the end of Andrew's question. I feel no obligation to support a company just to support the company. If they are making a product that I am interested in that product. If they are, I'm going to use a smaller scale example. I don't really care for hamburgers that much, honestly. There is a restaurant up the street from me that is in the area, locally famous local hamburger place, and they keep posting like, hey, times have been really tough. If you could just, come in and take a pickup order. It'd really help us out. And my response to that is, while it would be a shame to see an institution go down, there's really nothing on that menu that speaks to me. So I have no interest in that. I will spend my money elsewhere.
But I would even argue that is, I mean, at least if you do that, you're at least helping your actual community. Helping these companies does absolutely nothing for anything in your life, right?
Fuck all. But like that's the thing. Like, this is a micro version of that might actually have some degree of impact.
Yeah.
And even then, I feel no obligation to make a dietary choice to benefit them just because they are a local company that people care about. I don't really like hamburgers, and that's their whole fucking menu. So, like, if they go under, that's a shame. It doesn't really affect me, though.
So basically, get fucked, local institution hamburger joint.
Yeah, replace it with the place that's got shit I want.
Yep.
No, it's just saying, like, that's like a micro version that involves people who I might actually meet.
Yeah.
Versus random executive from Activision's owned by Microsoft now. EA's a Saudi company. Shit.
Yeah. Ubisoft. If you buy anything from EA, you're supporting Jared Kushner. Just FYI. And basically funneling stuff to Trump, but
and Saudi influence peddling.
Yes.
Please. Yep. If I buy it from Ubisoft, I'm funding their future debt collectors. Boy, it's tough going out there.
It is. It's
tough going out there.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I don't feel any kind of way towards Western publishers or Japanese publishers either way. Yeah, like I like games that both make, like a lot of Western RPGs. I like sports games. I wish they were better. I hate them, but I have no alternative, so therefore I have to buy them.
I would like 2K's sports, just the part that sets like their monetary policy around their sports games.
Yeah,
I would like that floor to be like the movie that I see ads for lately, where the end of a street got warped to like the dinosaur era, which is stupid. Like, if you've never seen the trailer for this, oh my god, it looks so fucking stupid. I would very much like to see 2K's executive offices that deal with how they monetize their sports games to be sent to the dinosaur era.
It looks like 2K is gonna come out with a competitor for FC. So. And it's funny. That actually excites me, even though it's going to be so laden.
End of Oak Street.
It's going to be so laden with microtransactions.
It's going to be more laden because
But the thing is, you have to understand the bar is so low, though. The bar is so low that I will take if the game.
But they set the bar.
If the game plays better, who set the bar? What, 2K?
2K.
Well, yeah, for microtransactions. I mean, you got to understand where I'm coming from here. I'm coming from a microtransaction neighborhood in EAFC, right? So I'm like, does the game play better? Does it actually play like a modern game?
Oh, maybe.
Like, does it actually have quality assurance placed upon it? You know what I mean? Like, the bar is so low that I'm like, microtransactions? Oh, that's just a given. But
2K is going to charge you a microtransaction to save your game.
Yeah, like, exactly.
The End of Oak Street is the dumbass movie I was thinking of. I would like to see 2K's executive wing, specifically who deal with the monetization policy of NBA 2K,
honestly,
get the End of Oak Streeted.
When you said Oak Street, I thought you were talking about...
We're going to verb all the nouns today.
I thought you were talking about a private equity firm, honestly.
Well, I would like to see all of those get End of Oak Streeted, but...
Yep.
if you haven't seen the trailer to that movie, it's so dumb that at one point I asked the girlfriend, is this a parody joke? When is this going to turn into like a scary movie commercial? No, this is the movie. Oh, okay.
I just don't think that Oak Streeted is going to catch on as a verb. I think maybe we've gone too far here.
Not if we don't try.
I guess if the movie's really popular, but
not everything has to be a verb. I think that's what we've taken off. We've taken away anything from.
Are you saying we can't verb everything? Can I verb? God. All right, do we want to do another email, or do we want to call it here? I'm fine.
Well, I'd wrap up. I think some of it, the change in habits thing, I think was inevitable because like a lot of the stuff I liked out of Western publishers, and I think Andrew's the same, a fair bit here, was like local multiplayer based, and that was always going to become a much lesser part of my lifestyle, going from being, a teenager to, being an old man. So, yeah, but I do think, the Nintendo's strategic shift and the way that kind of estranged them from a lot of these publishers just radically accelerated that process quite a bit. But, it was kind of inevitable. But, the Switch, it did give me a chance to catch up with some of these things. It's like, did I have a platform that could play Skyrim? Yes. Was I ever going to get through it strictly on television? No. So, I did avail myself of that opportunity, and I enjoyed it quite a lot, to be able to roll the credits on something like that. But I just didn't know, nowhere near saw everything they had to offer. It's just way too expansive for that. But, I got a good sense of this, very prominent Western game, and sort of like Doom Eternal. I play through that on Switch as well. So, every now and again, I kind of used it as an opportunity to kind of catch up with some other things that have been going on elsewhere. And I was really kind of grateful for that. But it's a lot of it is just kind of like the time's passed. Where, it would be a really big deal. And certainly no sense of obligation or, trying to establish some sort of sense of consistency over like decades. I can confidently say that version of me is dead and is not coming back.
Fair enough. All right. I think we're going to call it here. So email, send them, rfn@nintendoworldreport.com. You can also send your comments about Sonic Mania. That's our retroactive we are doing next week. Oh my God, there is an ad on my TV right now for playing games to get Amazon credit. Oh no. It's time to run away.
That's how it starts.
It's also badly AI generated, so that's great. All right, so you can send those again to rfn@nintendoworldreport.com. There is a disclaimer on a service called Free Cash that says you may not actually get cash. Nice. So that plus our retroactive next week of Sonic Mania, there is still time to get started, but you probably need to get started soon because you're probably going to end up running backwards for half a screen, not knowing if you're going the right direction or not because it's bad level design. So, on that, music. Greg, what music do we have to conclude this week's episode?
Well, recently we've had the Switch 2 edition of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So I'm going to use that as an excuse to dip back into the well. Yeah, we've been there plenty of times. But to be fair, when they announced Genesis, I used something from Radiant Historia. So it won't be any excuse. I'll pick and choose my opportunities.
It's just got a lot. It has a lot of fucking music.
It has. We've used it a lot as well. To be fair,
but it's got like 5.5 hour long soundtrack.
The breadth of it as well, battles and fields and homages to Tokusatsu.
God,
it goes everywhere and all that. And but absolutely not saying anything about mental associations with doomed continents at all. I'm going to go back to Torna this time, which again, used before. But I wanted to use the Oresco Royal Capital theme, which is really, really nice town theme. It's interesting because, I think typically for a town in a Xenoblade game that's like quite, reasonably sort of sized like this, it probably would be more grandiose, but you have got to have the context of the stuff where it's like this place that is not long for this world. It's more kind of intimate, kind of more sort of tinged with sadness kind of thing, but still really gorgeous as you'd expect, obviously. But yeah, terrific soundtrack. I don't imagine I'll be getting to the Switch 2 edition of this anytime soon because I've still got to play through the Xenoblade 1 before that, and then three probably might beckon after that. So yeah, even I know it needs it. Technically, doesn't it?
I need to see it.
Everything that I've kind of seen and read about it suggests that, it's a pretty sizable improvement in a number of ways, although I don't suppose it can fix everything. They did the field skills, right? Like that, they have actually patched the game to make that more, transparent, straightforward.
I wanted them to make it worse, so I'm hurt.
But I don't know whether the map has got any improvement. So
I don't think it has. No,
No.
I just got to remember the field skills going. What, you fuckers can't add? It's 3 plus 5. What are you doing?
It's
like, how do I get 8? You add 3 and 5.
It was always strange, especially considering I did, much like you, played through it pretty close to launch. In retrospect, I'm a little bit surprised that the field skill things wasn't just like a patch that was like a few months after launch, like as if that waited till now for it to be fixed. But I guess Monolith were busy. Eventually, they had to just move on to other things. But just. So such a sensational soundtrack's another great example of it.
Unfathomable achievement. All right, on that, it is time for us to go. Bye, everybody.
Later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.